Next one up, we're gonna learn everything about native advertising. In my interview with Harun Rosenzweig, we're gonna dive into what makes native ads successful in 2021, what verticals to use, what ads to use, and a lot more. I'm sure if you do anything in native advertising or want to do, this one is gonna be for you. Happy to have you here and happy to have you on our stage. This is Harun. Welcome back, Ad World, for a deep dive into all things native advertising. I have the pro with me. Hi, Harun.
Hey, Phil, how are you?
Doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Having a great day, thank you.
All right, perfect. Well, I guess without further ado, let's talk about native and beyond, right? I mean, native obviously is one of the most important traffic sources marketers have at their disposal nowadays. So can you share a little bit of what you, as well, a person who sees a lot and obviously is very deep into how Outbrain works, but also how the entire industry works, what do you see being the most important right now and for 2021 when it comes to native advertising?
So I think we need to understand, first of all, that 2021 and 2020 are completely different. If in 2020 we would have said that COVID, everyone is at home, you need to be more direct, more aggressive towards your customers. Right now, for marketers, it's super important to understand that each market is completely different. Some countries are more open, some are more closed. And you need to take that under consideration. But all in all, I would say e-com by far is one of our biggest verticals right now. It's working amazingly well, even in open countries, but for sure in the closed ones, people are not too keen to go outside into stores, walking into markets. So whatever can be delivered is perfect, and we're seeing higher conversion rates than before. Anything that you can use to make your audience feel safer towards their future, so insurance or investment, anything financial right now is booming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is true across all the different traffic channels that you can have, but definitely also for native, because we'll dive into the details. But native obviously works a little bit different as compared to many other sources. Let's talk about specific ads, actually. So I'm a Facebook, Instagram, social media kind of guy. So help me out. If I want to start on native, and I've been asking this question for years, I will finally make it to native with your help, I promise. So what do ads have to have in place so their chances of success are the biggest when it comes to native advertising?
So it kind of depends on the ad. You have your normal video ads, which is quite similar to what you're seeing anywhere else. But when you're talking about the classic native ads, what appears in the widgets, you need to split it into the ad itself, to the text and the image. Clickbaity ads, which work amazingly well on social, sometimes on GDN as well, they're not as good as they used to be. People are more scared right now, so you need a short headline, make it simple, make it readable. Don't be, I don't know, clickbaity again is the best term for it. Use something which is easy to understand, contextual completely. So if someone sees a text promising one thing and the end page is different, your bounce rate is gonna kill you. So make it simple, make it short. The image, I think, is more important because you're seeing tons of images, tons of ads every day. Yeah. The image must be disruptive, but again, super contextual. All those old rules that we see, make irregular numbers or capitalize your letters, those don't work as well. People are done being scared of ads. They want something which is actually direct and honest. Honesty is super, super, super important in native. Think about your user. They're going to a publisher like CNN, which they know and trust. So they have a level of expectation that they want you to match that.
That's very interesting, because I used to see a lot of native ads that were indeed very clickbaity, right? Some crazy image and then headline where, as a marketer, obviously you could tell that they just want to have the click, right? And then hopefully they know what to do with it. So what you're telling me is that this actually does change, and that COVID has played a role in that change.
Completely. People they don't want to be scared. They open the news, people scare them about the pandemic. They read the news online as well. Everyone's scaring them. So they want people to make them feel more safe, make them feel assured at home. Take advantage of the fact that people are sitting at home, think about their state of mind, they want to discover something new. Use that to your advantage. Don't copy your competitors all the time. what you're seeing out there on your spy tools or even just by browsing doesn't mean it actually works. We're not looking for volume. If you're a good marketer, you're not looking just for clicks. You want high conversion rates, you want high return on your investment. Make sure that you sell the experience from the ad up until the user actually buys or converts what you're measuring.
That's very interesting, and it definitely makes a lot of sense to me, and how we used to do marketing. But one thing I believe is very important, especially on native, it's important everywhere, but especially on native, when you use content more than in many other forms of advertising. I'm wondering what recommendations you have in terms of the funnel, right? Because on Facebook or Google search, it's quite obvious what works well, and there's a lot of proven frameworks. For native, is there something like this as well? How do you work with funnels? What do you recommend after you've got the click on that ad?
Make sure you can tell a story about your product. Easy short conversions on funnels don't work as well. Make sure that you know where to combine your content within the funnel. It could be upper or mid funnel as well, but it can also be used at the end of the funnel, at the bottom of it. If you're a luxury product, for example, if you're selling a car which is super expensive, try and combine content at the beginning. Tell your stories, sell your experience. If you're a coffee maker, a machine maker, you can sell your product on Facebook and you can do it on Google as well. But you can have actually a high value user which is more loyal if you tell them the story of your product. If you take them along a journey, tell them not just, oh, you just click one button and you're going to get an amazing coffee. Sell the experience of waking up in the morning super tired, how your day improves. Take them along a journey. You can combine so many platforms together. You can do dynamic remarketing with native, Facebook and Google together. So content can be combined at any stage. It does deeply depend on what type of product you're trying to sell. If you're selling insurance, then yeah, the funnel can be super short. You can just tell them why they should have insurance, have a legend form at the end, they're going to convert if the page is good. But if you have a high value product which is expensive, you need to take them on a longer journey. So content can be combined all along the way from the top until the bottom of the funnel.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I have a follow-up question on this, because over the last years, so I've been in the space for quite a while, and what I've seen many years is a trend towards data-driven performance marketing, obviously. Now, I see a little bit of a bounce back. I mean, things always tend to come in waves, and I see a little bit of a bounce back towards branding being more important. And this, to me, makes a lot of sense with the storytelling approach that you were just talking about. So how, if I want to build up my brand, how would I structure my campaigns on a native channel like Outbrain? How would I do that?
So even if you are looking for branding on Outbrain, if you're the biggest brand out there, I would still recommend to look towards performance. Branding and performance do work together. They're not separate in the world. They can speak the same language. So it depends on where you want to combine us. But if you want to structure your best campaign, you need to think about what type of advertiser are you, what product are you selling, where do you want to combine native, and start structuring everything. We do have a lot of automated tools right now. As long as you define good conversions and know what you're looking for, you can let the algo do the work for you. You can use IAB remarketing, for example, and get the best contextual right now. If you're selling a car, you can appear just on car articles. If you're selling a mobile phone, you can do the same thing. So think about the contextual targeting. Think about your user interest targeting, but don't be afraid to reach out, to spread out your audience. The big advantage within native advertising, and this goes not just for Outbrain, is that you can discover new users. If you think about Facebook, for example, you define your interests. They see what you like and where you comment, and your ads are going to correspond with that. Native is different because you're not telling us, listen, I like to read about Kim Kardashian, Samsung mobile phones, and I like a few brands. We learn that along the way, and we can make educated assumptions on what to suggest to you. So spread out, but make sure you do it smartly.
Interesting. Okay. So one thing of the past was also a concern about the quality of traffic, really. What's the modern day solution? How can you ensure that the quality of traffic that you get from native is at the level that you desire?
This is a question that I actually love, because when I used to advertise myself with Outbrain and many of the competitors, I used to tell them, listen, I want to appear just on MSN or just on CNN, because everyone told me that that's where I can get the best quality. But quality changes. I don't believe there's such a thing as bad quality traffic, unless it's spot traffic or something that is almost non-existent. There's a good traffic for a good price. So if you can optimize correctly and not just look at the name of the actual publisher, but the quality, the user retention, the output, make sure you measure things. That's the best way to measure the user quality and the traffic source. If you combine heat maps in your page, you can see the user behavior, and you would see that one publisher is completely different than the other, and each one of them has a completely different price. So as long as you optimize your campaigns and you make sure that you bid correctly for each specific publisher, quality shouldn't be a problem. But again, that's up to the marketer to know what they're measuring and know where to combine native along their funnel.
Right. I think that's smart. I mean, in general, obviously, if you are able to run multi-channel, right, and throw native inside the mix, I think that could be a very good strategy. But you got to know what you're doing. So it definitely helps to have automation tools that'll make your life easier, right? So one other question I have is in terms of the offers that you see working best. You briefly touched on the industries that were super successful towards COVID. Now, looking at 2021, but also in general, is there any type of product, any type of offer or services that do specifically well for natives? So people who run those offers or have brands that sell those products, that they definitely look into native advertising?
Yeah, for sure. You need to look at their audience. If you look at the list of publisher on native or Outbrain, then they don't include young kids, they don't include really young audiences. We have more mature audiences. Our traffic split is completely different. If you look at Outbrain, for example, about 30 to 35% of our traffic is desktop, which is quite rare these days. Most people go towards mobile. Yeah. So if you have a more mature audience, which are focused towards the computers, you kind of think what you can sell them. You can sell them, as I mentioned, everything financial, something that they need, sometimes a longer funnel, more expensive product. So if your coffee maker costs £200 and not 50, we could be a great solution for you as well, as long as you know what you do. Combine that with IAB targeting and interest targeting and all the user data that we have, we are the perfect solution. If your product is a one-time thing that costs £2, we might not be the best solution for you. Our traffic might be a bit expensive, so you need to be more hesitant about how you use us and how you measure everything. I think we are better towards more expensive. So the automotive industry, for example, for test drive or any information they want to get about a new car, we're perfect. If you think about toys, then we don't have those kids. We don't have the TikTok audience. But if you think about younger kids, you can still sell those products, but you need to sell them to their parents. It all depends on how you sell things and what your approach towards them.
Absolutely. So what is, in your perspective, then the biggest difference between native ads and, let's say, social ads, as an example, Facebook, Instagram, and Google search, for example? What's the big difference?
The biggest difference is the state of mind of the user. When I go towards Google and I search for a specific product, I know what I'm looking for. When I go to Facebook, they know everything. They know what I like, and they show me everything that's dependent on my profile that I have. When you go towards native, you're not expecting those ads. We're not aggressive. We're not pushy. We kind of let you scroll down, discover new products, discover new experiences. So again, make sure that the user discovers everything. Make sure that they feel that you're talking towards them and not about them. If you're promoting a mobile app, don't tell them I have the best mobile app, because it's not relevant. They don't want to discover that. They want to discover the best mobile app for them. So make sure you understand who you're targeting, how you're targeting them, and tell them the story about your product. You can do it with an advertorial, or can you do it just with a good headline and an image? But that's super crucial.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just thinking how I could combine the different traffic sources in the best way, but obviously it depends very much on the product that you have and how the funnel then connects to that afterwards. But would you have any specific example?
Yeah, you need to be dynamic. I love the automotive industry because those are the best stories we have right now. You can show someone a great article, a review about a new car coming to their country. You can show them, remarket them on Facebook, sending them to a landing page. If they don't convert there, you can still tell them the story on Outbrain, tell them why this is the best car for them. You can serve them a video ad and collect that lead. If they didn't convert yet, you can still retarget them on GDN. I think you need to be super, super flexible with what you do. And you have to make sure that you understand what each part of the funnel means for you. And make sure you understand that, again, as you mentioned before, we're not social and we're not search. And the pages you serve have to be different as well, because the user experience is different, the user state of mind is different. So what you serve them has to be super, super good for that specific funnel.
Super interesting. Okay. All right. I have a very different question as well. So we've covered a lot about the industry, that work very well, the kind of ads, a little bit on the content and funnel. How has the situation with COVID that all of us are busy digesting and looking for opportunities within that, how has that situation right now changed the way that you actually work in your business and the business relationships? Because that's something that you had over at Outbrain. It's not directly connected to how people should run ads, but a lot of people obviously also are challenged in how they work with partners, how they build up relationships. So since you do that a lot on a very successful level, can you share about how you approach potential new businesses and how your processes have changed over the last year?
Yeah. So the biggest difference that we had to smile more and had to be nicer to people and had to be more flexible.
Okay.
The amount of meetings that I had canceled last minute, even last second, is enormous. But I had to be more understanding. You're stuck at home, your kids are running. I had so many meetings that had kids running in their underwear, shouting at their parents midday. And I had to be flexible and understand that's the new reality we have to be. We made sure that our account managers and sales reps are more available even beyond their working hours, because we understand that everything is right now changing and it's going to change even more. I think I was more of a therapist than an actually sales rep. Half the time I had to be more acceptable to understand people are changing. Life is changing. Everything was online, so I couldn't hug my clients or shake their hands, and it's different, but hopefully it's going to change soon.
Very, very interesting. Okay. So overall, after adapting, do you think it's a more successful way of doing business, or is it still challenging and you can't wait to have the old version of life back?
I want the old version. We had an amazing year at Outbrain. I had an amazing year myself professionally, but still I've been interacting with people face to face, quote unquote, feeling what they feel is completely different than doing it from home. Just the experience of meeting new people and actually talking to them and then going to lunch with them is different. It's been challenging. It's been a good year, but I can't wait for the old things to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm feeling you on this one. In our industry, it seems like in general, people had an amazing year. Obviously, that's different to almost any other industry in this world. But professionally, I see a lot of people striving and being very successful. But on a personal level, obviously, it's a different story. So let's hope for the better.
People are at home, so it's easier to advertise, easier to sell online than it used to be before. The smart ones, the smart marketeers, the brands, the affiliates, the app developers didn't stop advertising. They actually increased their budgets because they had a captive audience. People were sitting in front of their screens looking at what to do. The ones who I think made the big mistake said, okay, everything is shaky right now. Let's pause the campaigns. Let's wait and see what happens. The smart ones actually turned up the volume and said, okay, it's a situation we all stuck in. Let's take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's times of change where the biggest opportunities appear, right? And so, yeah, I can definitely tell a lot of, I won't do it here, but there's a lot of stories of things that happened to us in the last year where you see different groups of people, right? And those who were courageous enough to see that opportunity and move forward are often now at an advantage. So anyways, let this be a little inspiration for everybody here, so that whatever challenges we have to face in 2021 and beyond, I hope that you will be well equipped and that this show and this very interview can help you a little bit on that journey. I have a last question, and then unfortunately we have to close this already again, but I am very interested into what you foresee actually business-wise for 2021 in the native advertising space. Is there anything that Outbrain will develop? Is there any innovations that we're about to expect? I want to have a little peek into the future that people can get here and nowhere else.
Sure. So as we became more performance oriented, so did our audience. So we had to make a lot of changes in our product on both the publisher and the advertiser side. So everything right now is more dynamic, more accurate, and much more faster. 2 years ago, if you wanted to get access to an API, you had to, for example, have a developer on your end, tons of hours of work. Right now, we just released something called OB code, where you get a visual access to our API, so you can set automated rules. So if something doesn't perform as you wished, it automatically blocks it. We've released another cool feature called CBS, which is conversion bid strategy. It optimizes automatically all of your campaigns towards the goal that you set up. So all the manual work, all the optimization, checking the data 24/7 is gone. If we look at the publisher side, our widgets right now are completely dynamic towards you. So if me and you sit one next to the other and both open CNN and scroll down, the widget that I'm going to see, not just on the ad level, but just on the UX, is completely different. You're going to see probably more videos. I'm not going to see as much. I'm going to get on mobile more app downloads campaigns because our algorithm knows that I react better to those ads. So everything is much more dynamic. Everything is quicker. Automation is where we are going right now. We want to save people time because, again, time is money. Our advertisers, even though they're stuck at home, they can't optimize all day. They have their kids running in the background. They need more time to help them. So we're doing our best to help them out.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's definitely the way to go. It's the takeover of the machines, but it's still humans in charge. So I'm looking forward to see that development and an ongoing conversation with you, hopefully at the next Ad World. Thank you so much for shedding light on the world of native advertising. It was great having you with us here at Ad World. Thank you, Haran.
Thank you very much. Bye.